Hi, team. Welcome to the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Coming up, we head on down to Spoiler Town for a little trader talk. But first, some game and community news. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 211. Right over there. And alongside, as always, is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hey, Max, it's going pretty well. I'm in the process of unpacking without having moved because I had everything in my kitchen got packed up and moved to the garage, and now I'm having to move it back, and it's really educational. Like, I didn't know before that I had two oven thermometers, and I've been keeping like separate boxes, so I've been trying to throw away things as I unpack, and then I'm keeping a box of stuff to go to Goodwill. And I was trying to find a place for my wine glasses because with the new cabinets, they don't fit unless you put them on the highest one. And they don't really fit in the dishwasher anyway. And I'm like, why do I even have these wine glasses? I hate them.
Are they like really giant or something? Are they like
They're not that big, or they don't seem that
24
big to me,
inches
but it's
tall?
so after having wrapped them in paper, packed them, put them in the garage, unwrap them from paper, bring them in the house, I decided to get rid of them
Yeah, well, there
to
you
get some
go.
shorter wine glasses. But yes, that's all. That's all. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me a lot. In game, we did. Let's see, what did we do on MFN this week? We went and killed the Colossus on Iocath. We spent some time in explosive conflict, running around, doing things, killing one boss, but killing a lot of other things. Then we ran around the galaxy and did at least three world bosses so everyone could get that quest done. And uh, got ended up garnishing quite a few conquest points for that night.
Mm-hmm.
And then tonight on our ops night, we split up and had two groups do Crisis on Umbara. We had a group of four and a group of two, and the group of two finished way before the group of four. But that's just how we roll, man. So we had a fun night of instancing and chatting basically for our ops night.
Yeah, you can get some more of those recon datas, which is
Yep,
useful.
I got some. So I bought some more of the biochem recipes. So now I have bought the med pack, the versatility stem, the triage adrenal, and I think I bought the damage adrenal. Or what did I buy? Another adrenal anyway. So Koth is out making me the triage one right now as we speak.
Good job, Koth.
Yeah, because
Alive
my
Koth?
yeah, a live Koth.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
we'll talk about that later.
Yep. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. How about you?
Same sorts of things, of course, on the nights we were playing and doing the same things, of course.
Yes. Yes.
I've got the train, but doing some more Umbara is still useful because I do want to get. I do like that armor set. I don't know how often I'll use it, but it's legacy bound and it's a really cool looking armor set, so I wouldn't mind that. And that I counted up and now I forgot how much it was, like 55, 54, 56, somewhere around there, number of recon datas that you need to get the whole armor set. And it's another 15 for the the mount, which I want to get too. So I need to be cranking through do about 20 more solo modes of that flashpoint, and
Right.
I will be all good. No, but we two-manned veteran mode, me and Kobu,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was fine. It was easy to two-man veteran mode with the 50 the influence 50 companions.
Yeah. Once we switched to veteran mode, it was fine too. We were just not doing well in master mode. We need something something different than what we had.
It takes a little. You got to plan out the strats to
Yeah.
go through it a couple times. It's non-trivial. That, and I did a pass. Why did I do it? I think I was on a bunch of conference calls for work, and I did a pass on Darvanis to pick up a bunch of crafting materials because I think in 2 weeks we're gonna have another big crafting week. So there's some crafting stuff that you can do this week for Iocath, the Plunder of Iocath. But in 2 weeks, there's going to be another Conquest week. So I took some of the off time, and it was, Darvanis is just littered with grade 9 materials. Just, well, I've got the character that has bioanalysis and
Analysis,
archaeology and scavenging.
scavenging.
So it's the triple gather. So that character just there's
Yeah,
the
so
mini
just
map is just
nodes.
covered
Yes,
with
have some nodes
asterisks.
with your nodes. Yeah.
So that's
You just
amazing.
can never make it anywhere because you just keep stopping for more
Oh, a piece of
nodes.
candy. Oh, a piece of candy. So I've started to stack up a couple of those, and I'll be prepared. I am prepared. So that's what I've been doing. Let's check out the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So first up, there is a little bit more back and forth in the thread. They do want to, if you saw this, remember last week we mentioned Keith did a little discussion of, hey, we get that the extra bonus CXP you were getting off of the daily areas was really, really good, and people like that. We don't want to. We know it's a little bit too much. We don't want to scale it too back, but we like how it's a lot. We like how people are liking it, and we'll think about blah, blah, blah. So, bunch of discussion. Keith had a little bit of a clarification. They certainly can't, and this makes sense, just leave those daily areas as a huge amount of CXP, because then no one will ever do anything else, and you'll burn out on the one thing. So they've got to balance it. They do get that more CXP across everything is a good idea, though. So hopefully we'll see more of that sooner rather than later, but not all that soon from what it sounds like. So what else did we hear, Seema, about what soon is starting to mean?
Well, Eric posted that he did have some updates for us. First of all, the roadmap is still in progress. They are moving some things back and forth between 5.5 and 5.6 patches, and so they need to settle it on that before they can actually give a roadmap with estimated dates and stuff, which makes sense. They're planning to put out game update 5.5 in late September, or they were planning, but they're moving it out now to early October. Current target date is 10/10. Yeah, I think they want to learn from the last rollout 5.4 and try to have a little bit more secure of an experience for everyone. They're still planning to do some class balance stuff, and they'll be putting out some more posts, some more details on that soon in posts. And also the comment that they know that companions are important to us, and as soon as we have announcements on any companions coming back in a game update, that they will let us know.
Yeah. Although they've been saying that for forever.
I kind of reading between the lines on this one is sort of like, you don't have to keep asking us.
Yes.
We know you want it. We're going to let you know when it's coming. But, people will still ask.
Yeah. And, we also, those of us that have been listening, get that it's not trivial. If it was trivial, it would be too trivial and people would complain about that, because people don't want, just a little alert and, one cutscene and Mako's back.
Well, you can see I did the trivial thing. I went and got my Scorpio back.
Yeah, that's nice. Scorpio's the bomb. I like Scorpio, although as you can see, what I did here to my Shea Vizsla is I turned her into a robot that I am.
It's because you missed Scorpio.
Utterly amused by. So this is my robot, my robot companion.
But
so
this
yeah,
is Scorpio is the only one I've done this with. I kind of want to get the rest back, via the story.
Right. I mean, I'm fine with it. This is the way that choices can matter to some degree. Those companions are just sort of gone now, and they've been gone for years. And yeah, maybe they'll never come back. I don't know, but we've got so many companions. It's not inhibiting my gameplay. It's a story thing, and someday that story might resolve. Maybe it won't. Who knows? Think Game of Thrones style, and maybe Mako's dead. Maybe they're all dead. I don't know. So who knows? Max does a little bit of a reality check here. So Keith responded to another one of these threads, which I think he should not respond to. I don't know why he responded to this anyway, but it was another one of these threads with a bunch of players asking, so it was, after this serious issues with last patch, I feel it'd be prudent and warranted to have Keith come in and give us an outline of exactly what the studio is doing to ensure a better rollout better results for the next patch, and why and how the next patch should be less troublesome for players. Exactly. Players deserve to have the broad brushstrokes around quality addressed and blah, 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 blah. No, they don't deserve any of that. And you're not, okay, well, in just a second, Seema will get to some good theories on what's actually being asked for here, because what you're asking for is not going to satisfy you and is not going to be useful. So I will solve it for you right now. Let me explain what they're going to do and what the updated quality process will be. And, this will really break it down so you'll really get the nitty-gritty.
I can't wait to hear this.
You see, they'll take the build and they'll smooth it out with a bunch of Schleem. The Schleem will then be repurposed for later builds. Then they'll take the build and they'll push it through the Grumbo, where the Fleeb will be rubbed against it. It's important to rub the Fleeb because that's where all the Fleeb juice is. Then a Schlami will show up and rub it and spit on it. They will cut the Fleeb. There will be several Hizzards in the way. The Blamps will rub against the Chumbles, and the Plumbus and the Grumbo will be shaved away, and that will leave us with a high-quality build. So there you go. Broke it down.
That's the process.
In very simple terms, that you can see how that's going to increase the quality, and now you can just stop asking. So you had a good comment in show prep, Seema, about
right. So when I read a post like this, I agree with you. That's what his words are saying. But I think what this person really wants is some kind of reassurance and some answer to his fear that things are not going to work right in the future. And
that
I know that
better.
He's asking that with his words, but the answer that would address his words would not provide that anyway. So,
right. And my response back was, that's valid. That's probably what they're asking for. They want to be reassured that things will work better in the future. But here's the thing: they won't. They never will.
Yeah.
Things will break again. This bad patch process and bad quality will happen again, because it happens everywhere to every game company ever for the history of time. It will happen again. So you can, reassure yourself or put. I don't know what you need to do to put your mind at ease, but my recommendation is just embrace the darkness and roll with it, because that's the reality.
I think what makes an impact to this kind of feeling is the kind of stuff that Keith and Eric have started doing already, which is to show that they understand why it's frustrating for players. And that's the beginning of the process. But then, like in all stuff where a lot of heads are involved, a lot of people, the feeling that people have about it lags way after the action is taken. So you could talk to people, and their feelings don't update as fast as real time. So even though they're doing that now, people won't start to feel more, secure until sometime in the future.
I guess, yeah, that's probably what it is.
But yes, you're absolutely right. There's always going to be the possibility of problems. Every game has them. It's not just SWTOR. SWTOR's been through a bad patch recently, but yeah.
The best games in the world, World of Warcraft, one of the highest grossing, most money spent on it. They've been doing it for a decade. It still has bad patches from time to time. It still
Final
happens.
Fantasy XIV, they took it off the market and rewrote it.
Right. You talk about mother of all bad patches. So yeah, so it was a little bit of a bad patch. It'll happen, and it will happen again. Whatever words you need to make yourself feel better, I guess that's fine. Just because I'm an adult and don't need
doesn't mean everybody is.
don't need someone to to put their arm around my shoulders and tell me everything will be okay doesn't mean that everybody is the same way. So maybe some other
Right.
people need that. That's fine. So
Or maybe they
Keith can
don't
do
need
that.
it in other areas of their life where you might.
I think
But
it
in this area,
in my head it just goes without saying, so it doesn't need to be said.
yeah, yeah. Well, your
Anyways,
head is different.
crazy. Yes. Okay. So back to bringing it back down a notch. What else do we got in the schedule, Seema?
Let's see. Oh, we got a new conquest schedule. So, like right now, we're in Plunder of Iocath, but yeah, they published what the schedule for conquest is going to be through the month of November. So we have that info now.
Yes. Yeah. So we've got the whole list of
Uh,
them. We do have
like you
Trade
said, there's a
Emporium.
crafting
Yeah.
one coming up. Yeah.
So get all your materials. I typically go for the grade 8 and grade 9 to make all of my components, my war supplies. And I get my grade 8s off of Yavin 4, and I get my grade 9s off of Darvanis.
So I think that's a good plan because it takes fewer. And even though they've since the beginning of the game, they've made a change in how much more there is of some of the mid-range materials that used to be hard to get, but they're still not as plentiful, I think, as grade 8 and grade 9. So
Right.
they're more plentiful out in the wild, and it takes fewer of them. So I think that's probably a good way to approach it.
Yeah, I've found, for me at least, yeah, I agree. I've found that to be most effective. You will spend a little bit more on the white mats, but I've also been
That's true.
running the missions, the companion missions to get those white materials for crafting, because it's an order of magnitude cheaper if you do it that way. It takes extra effort to be running those missions all the time, but I now have a couple hundred at least of each of those white materials for crafting for each of the crafting disciplines, because I've just been running those missions every time I remember. So that's
Yeah,
that.
and I still have, kind of a backload sometimes of mid-range mats just because of being out and about and doing, the planetary heroics. But I didn't go farming for them, but, they still collected a pretty good clip.
Exactly. Game and community news, guild and community news. What do we got going on, Seema?
Well, MFN next week, September 19th, is going to be on the pub side, so everyone get your pubs out.
Excellent. Sorry, it's a little side distraction for my daughter there.
Oh,
Also, if
I
you
thought you were
want
reading
to,
a book or something.
I was making a sandwich. If you are not in AIE and would like to, you can certainly do that. That certainly can be arranged. Guild info is on aie-guild.org, or you can check in Guild on Jedi Covenant and grab us in our officer channel. You can join the custom chat channel by doing a /c join AIE LFO on both the Republic and the Imperial sides on Jedi Covenant. We are typically around most of the prime time, Central Region U.S. Central Standard Time prime times most nights. If you can't find us there, catching up with us on Twitter or checking our guild website and finding us on Discord is a great idea, because we're in Discord all the time. So do that, because I would love to have more of you cool people out there in our guild. And certainly shout out and thank you to the chat room. You guys were helping me out with commentary on what we're going to be talking about tonight, as well as volume and sound levels, which which was helping. I don't know why my sound was all screwed up, but it was too loud. And what was too loud? Here, let me play a bit for you as we transition into our segment here. It sounded a little bit like this.
In a few minutes, this train will collide with that mountain range. You'll be disintegrated, and I'll escape with the Adegan crystals. Don't worry. You won't feel a thing.
that, as we said, this is going to be a spoiler town and traitor talk. That is the point in the story where we find out who the shadowy figure, the traitor in the Iokath storyline turns out to be, which, surprise, surprise, is Theron. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about what we thought during the time when this happened to us and at us. We're going to talk about the variations. We're also going to talk about what we think about what we think might be going on, or sort of fan theories about what's happening around all of this. I'm certainly interested in when everyone else is thinking about this too. So just to kick it off, why don't you start, Seema? And because I need to step away for just a second, apparently.
Okay.
It's an emergency with the tennis uniform that is lost. So
All right.
you tell us what you think, and then I will tell you what I thought when I saw it the first time.
Okay. So I actually saw an unfortunate comment about data mining, so I already knew before the story, so I was not surprised. However, I did feel that it came about extremely abruptly. So there was like no setup, or from my perspective, very little explanation either, because I play light side, so there was no mistreatment leading up to it. So I've watched since then the YouTube version of some of the dark side stories, and it made a lot more sense actually. But yeah, I was not surprised, but I was rather taken aback by the suddenness of the revelation. Yeah, so I actually, Theron is one of my favorite characters, so I guess we'll get to it in the course of this discussion, but I'm hoping there's more to it than we might think.
Then meets the eye. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about it. So yeah, when I was amused. I was both surprised and I was quite amused. One more second.
Well, I will say, since in preparation for tonight, I went on YouTube and I watched a bunch of different versions of it happening. And there is a version where when Theron reveals himself and he closes the force field so that you're closed off into the engine room of the train. But if you're a Sith Force user, you can force choke him through the force field. And he does. But he lets him go because he wants Theron to explain himself. As all good villains do, they stop at the very end and explain why they're doing everything.
Yeah. So
minutes, this train will collide with that mountain range.
Here's the force the warrior
crystals.
doing the force choke through the force field, which I thought was a little bit amusing. I didn't play it on a Sith warrior. That is quite amusing. Yeah, but so I played it on my bounty hunter. I was still amused. I played it all light side. I was like, Theron, bro, we can work it out. But no matter where this goes, I was amused at the time because I don't care where it goes. I like that they were taking a bold move. so if Theron is gone and lost to us, that's interesting. I was surprised. Other people have said they guessed it was Theron and they figured it out, or it seemed that way, at least as soon as the cutscene started playing, as soon as you started getting into this operation, this instance. I didn't get it. I didn't catch on, so I was surprised and I liked it. It also wasn't spoiled for me because I turned off general chat. I didn't watch the data mining, so I didn't get.
I wasn't watching data mining either.
Yeah, so that was
just the comment somebody made on a tweet or something.
Yeah.
But Starry Saber says in chat room, which I think is an interesting point, would have been way more devastating if it was Lana. And I see that because Theron has always had, a deviousness to him. It's just, his deviousness was on our side.
I wonder if that's because we Are we all playing Dark Side? Are we all playing Empire? I wonder if you were on the Republic side, if you sort of feel a little bit more betrayed because he's sort of that Republic character, and
Yeah,
Lana
maybe.
would have like been a little more logical because the Sith is now finally betraying you, and you always knew it, you know, that kind of thing. I wonder how much of that's playing into it. Because yes, same. It doesn't seem that out of character because he, you know, I'm a bounty hunter working for the Empire for the most part, and he was a Republic do-gooder for most of his career at least. Yeah. But yeah, so you get the cutscene where that first starts to happen. He crashes you in the train. The other part I thought that was interesting. Did you probably didn't romance Theron, did you? Because your Torian's your
Yeah.
buddy, right? So you
He's
could
my boo.
romance Theron, and if you romance Theron, that comes up, you know. So here's the sort of like little
Crystals.
clip where,
Don't worry.
you know,
You won't feel a thing.
you won't feel a thing, and then you can say to him, you know, how could you?
Did you
know,
ever love me? Or was that all part of the act?
You know I love you. But this is bigger than us.
This is bigger than us. That's it. Then it sort of goes back to the regular script.
Yeah.
But
Bigger
at least,
than us.
but at
You
least
know I
they-
love you.
You know I love you, but I'm just gonna kill you and crash it. I just tried to shoot you. Yeah. But he does sound a little bit broken up about it. I thought that was, yeah, okay. They had to refer to it somehow. At least they did refer to it a little bit. I wonder how someone who did romance Theron felt that played out, and you know, sort of what they're thinking about. Because you can then, I actually here, if you continue that scene, I think you say, no matter
Luring
what,
you
I
into that
still
trap on
love you,
Iron Path
Theron.
was just the beginning. Ever since you defeated Valkorion, everything I've done has been towards one: the total destruction of the Eternal Alliance.
But then you say,
You helped build the Alliance.
okay,
Now.
skip ahead.
This,
You say
I
something like,
believed you'd end the
I'll-
since you took
I'll
down
always
Valkorion.
love you,
Grew
Theron.
you, fighting from the inside. A symbol of oppression. So much for your dreams of peace.
I can't find it. Anyway, you do have the option to sort of continue that and keep saying, you know, you're still the best. Which, I don't know. I don't think fits completely, but
I mean, I don't. It's. Yeah, I didn't find it believable that I had become a symbol of oppression behind my back. You know, I didn't know it, but he knew it, but he didn't mention it.
So, which gets to
Like
a little bit of the theories that are going to come out of this after, which I agree.
Yeah.
So, continuing back at the base, you at sort of the end of the flashpoint, you do get cutscenes of you back at the base. A couple things happen which I thought were interesting. One is they refer to tracking down Satil Shan. What did you think of that, Seema?
I mean, I hope they find her. I think it would be interesting if they did, because you know, where is she? What's she up to?
I
mean, I know.
Yeah, she's a great character. I'm glad to you know, for any excuse to pull her back into the story. I don't know what use that she would really be in this
Yeah,
particular
I mean, I think the
scenario.
idea is that she would have some insight into what he might be doing and where he would go, so that you could catch him.
But this also revealed to us something that I hadn't been thinking about all that directly, but now made sense as soon as they started talking about it, which was Jace Malcolm. So
Yeah.
in my cutscene, when this came up, they said, well, Jace Malcolm's dead, so we can't ask him, but Satil's
Right.
you know, popping around somewhere, so we could ask her.
Right.
Jace Malcolm is not dead for everybody. So this is where we're getting to another side discussion, which is the complexity of what I'm calling from the meta story perspective of all these Schrodinger characters that are both dead and not dead. Jace
Right.
Malcolm, Asina, Koth, Arkin, Kaleo, Vet,
Torian and Vet.
You know, now we have this whole cadre of characters that pretty much from a story perspective, if they ever refer to them, need to then, you know, tie back all the way through your story, and they need to record multiple paths of dialogue to say whether they're dead or alive, or
Right.
they need to just treat them as dead for everybody and never refer to them
Right.
again, or you know,
Right.
whatever. Just,
It's like,
just write them
we'll
out.
never see Jace Malcolm again in a story.
Right, right. Yeah, he can never be a character in the continuing saga of Star Wars: The Old
Even
Republic.
for the people who, you know, that he's alive for. Well,
Right,
I'm happy for you because my Jace Malcolm is dead, which I kind of hate, but he's really dead for all of us
right, exactly.
because we'll never see him again.
Which is, and you made this point, which is really a shame for Jace Malcolm in particular. You know, Asina,
Yeah.
she was a cool character, but her dying, you know, whatever. Koth, whatever, same thing. He was sort of written that into the story at a point where he could die as a character, and it makes sense too. But Jace Malcolm is one of the original heroes,
Right.
old school, going way back. Get your microphone.
Sorry, and I've got. Hang on, let me just. This is our super professional night.
I'm gonna have quite an editing job for this one. So yeah, Jace Malcolm. I didn't like that, and I don't think we talked about this either because it was another one of those that we didn't want to spoil at the time, and I didn't like that they sort of threw him away that way, and now he's gone,
Yeah.
and he's done.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing epic about the way he went. There's just, they reintroduced him basically to kill him
right,
in a very short scene. So, yeah. I mean, part of this is storytelling in a video game versus storytelling in a book. Like I can criticize all day long and say, well, you know, there should have been, like with Theron Shan, we should have seen some things leading up to it that would have made a better, stronger story. But I mean, you can't do 1,000 scenes in a game like you can do 1,000 paragraphs in a book.
right, and a book doesn't have the branching paths either.
Right.
And
Right.
a book doesn't have the branching paths that then will need to recursively be, you know, be thought about throughout the rest of the construction of the tree of possible story points that, you know, trail off into the future.
Yeah, I think the choices that matter thing has had an impact that, I mean, I didn't really think about, but I think it's actually made it harder to do strong storytelling.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I do. I agree that I never was really all that hot on, or the need for choices to matter so much in terms of killing off characters or not killing them, or I get to decide who lives and dies. Because of, yeah, you're right, because of this reason. If you're gonna kill a character like Jace Malcolm, that's fine. You can kill a character like Jace Malcolm, but then the whole story and foreshadowing and drama should lead up to that, and that should be a climactic point. And
Right.
you can't have it be a choice and have all of the writing and the story lead up to it in that way. It breaks
Right.
down. So you have to leave it in an indeterminate state, and the story, you know, can't lead you to that point and then not pay off, because that would be, you know, weird also. So, yeah.
Like I've never been attracted to those books where you can pick your own ending.
Choose your own
Because
adventure.
what I enjoy from a story is that inexorable lead up to the sort of inevitable ending.
Right.
And when it becomes more random, it's not as gripping for me.
Right, and even the M. Night Shyamalan twist versions of stories, it's constructed in such a way that it leads you up to the point where that twist is
Right.
impactful.
Right.
And then as you look back throughout the story, it was constructed in such a way that, Bruce Willis was dead all the time, and now you realize, oh yeah, okay, now when I look back, of course it all makes
Right.
sense. Whereas if Bruce Willis was like not dead, if you could like pick for him to not be dead, none of that, none like the whole movie's ruined. It makes no
Right.
sense whatsoever.
Right. Right.
So
Exactly. That's a great point. A
Um,
great example. Yeah.
sorry, yes, I told you this is spoiler cast. Snape kills Dumbledore. There you go. Rosebud is his sled. Crying game. It was
No,
a
but
dude all along.
nobody gets that Rosebud reference,
Nobody gets the Rosebud reference. Soylent Green is people. Another thing that I sort of liked, which I'm all down with. Let's see if I can see this here.
This is the commander of the Eternal Alliance.
Listen to this.
I have a warning about the terrorist Theron Shan. He
I
is
like this
a
person's
dangerous,
character.
unhinged criminal who will stop at nothing to
These are just
destroy
videos
you
off of
and your
YouTube.
loved ones.
I'm placing a bounty on Theron Shan's head. 1 billion credits to anyone who brings him in.
1 billion credits. First of all, where did the Outlander get 1 billion credits? And second, how do I get in on that action?
Because she sold most of her clothes.
Well, that one, but yeah, so that could have been in your cutscene. You could have put the 1 billion credits. But let me check my 870,000 on this on my bounty hunter here. I don't know where I'm getting that where I'm gonna have to pay up on that 1 billion credits. If that was me, but yeah, I'll take that bounty.
Yeah.
So I thought that was
Yeah,
interesting.
well, and I thought, well, I ended up offering him like a fleet, and I'm like, well, I wanted him to come back, but I don't know if I want to give him a fleet.
Yeah, that was a little. You're right. That was a little dramatic too. That was, I want to be buds with him. I want to get him back on my side. But yeah, I don't know how prodigal son I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna kill the fatted
Right.
calf for him necessarily.
At this point, I don't know if I want him back on my side, but I certainly feel a need to understand better what just happened. I want to know. But speaking of what happened, do you want to talk about the ending now?
Yes, I do. Do you want me to play that little clip? Because now here's where
Yeah.
it gets interesting. I think you're absolutely right. This is the great part to talk about.
Commander.
So, you did as we asked. We had our doubts, but now we see your dedication to the cause. We've reached a decision. Theron Shan, welcome to the Order.
Booyah. Okay. So yes, lay the story down, Seema. What do you think's going on there?
So, if this whole thing was a sort of initiation that Theron was going through to convince some undetermined group, the Order, to take him in so he can pull them down. I mean, basically, he never really wanted. Now you go back and look at the story that happened leading up to this, and you think, well, okay, if he doesn't really think that the Outlander is the worst thing that ever happened to the universe, and then you say, okay, well, no wonder the train wreck didn't actually kill me, because he knew he set up something that looked like it was a good effort on his part, but I just got away because I'm that great. Or maybe he set it up because in a way that he knew I could get away.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's why there was no lead up, and why I don't understand why he's doing it is because it's
'Cause he's
all
not.
a ruse.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where I think it's going. I buy into that. That's the vibe I get out of the story so far is it's out of character for him. He's doing it to infiltrate this order. He's doing it for the good of the Empire. Oh, I forgot to look at the mail he sends you too, and we'll look at that here in just a second as well, because he sends you a mail as well that says something similar. It's all just know what I do for the good of the galaxy. It seems relatively obvious to me that that's the direction that this is going. I did have a little twinge though in thinking about it going this direction, in that my my one-on-one dialogue back to Theron would be, am I really that bad an actor that you couldn't just cut me in on the deal and let me know what was going on? And you have no faith in me to be able to keep a straight face when somebody asks me, did Theron really, really betray you? That I would have like spilled the beans. I'm just like that bad an actor. And is that Theron's line? No, sorry, Max.
No,
you were
no,
just
no.
terrible
No.
at keeping secrets, so I just had to really play it, really play it hard there for you, and you just suck
No,
it. Suck it in.
no, that's not, it's not. He thinks you're a fantastic actor, but he doesn't trust that you won't come over all hero on him. And it's not about acting; it's about what you might actually do. You might say, "Oh no, that what we got to do is bring the Eternal Fleet down on these guys." Because what if you don't agree to act like nothing happened? What if you decided that you had a
like
better
I'm
strategy?
gonna go cowboy, and
Well,
Theron thinks that this is the
is it
direction it
cowboy
really
when
needs
you
to
have
go.
the? Is it cowboy when you have the whole Eternal Fleet?
No, I guess it's not. I'm gonna go lone wolf with this entire fleet of ships behind me. Yeah, that's actually a good point, Seema. You got me there. So maybe it is justified. Maybe I'll let it slide, and I won't write a strongly worded letter to Theron about how he could have cut me in on the whole story. Although, but even so, I'm still the command. I'm still the commander of the whole alliance. He could have still put it up for a vote.
Oh, he's definitely insubordinate.
Yes. You cheeky monkey, Theron.
And you remember back like a few months ago on a live stream when Boyd said it's challenging to come up with a new antagonist after we've had this one for so long, the Emperor, Vitiate, and then Valkorion. And this order, whatever it is, maybe that's building up to be that antagonist that we're going to be battling for the next few years.
That's quite interesting. That is quite interesting. So yeah, what if he's sort of on this side infiltration mission now for a while, and we're going to finish the rest of the Iokath storyline. We're going to get through the rest of the gods from the machines, because we know we've got more fights of that to go. And what if he's checked out and like slowly checking in over time, and we see this buildup of the Order as being like this really bad new enemy? That's interesting. And the Order, the idea of the Order, we've heard that recently in Star Wars canon, haven't we? I wonder if they're going to try to set up something that this is like an ancient precursor to the Order. That's popping up in episodes in the future episodes, the 7, 8, and 9. That could be quite interesting too. I always thought it was a missed opportunity that they haven't been doing more tie-ins to the new movies that are coming out. Not that they're going to tie in all that directly, but even from a marketing perspective, they haven't been. If so they're saying not the First Order, the point 5 order.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, chicken. Thank you, Chicken Eyelids. I love that name. So Chicken Eyelid says, yes, this is not yet the First Order. This is order 0.5 or 0.4 or something along the way. So yeah, I would love them to be doing, even from a marketing perspective, more tie-ins to the new movies. I think they're a missed opportunity there. I imagine there's a whole bunch of complications that would make that difficult for them to do that. Anyways, that would be great. The most we had so far was the vented lightsaber. That's all we've gotten so far. We don't even have a BB-8 droid in the game. Whatever. That said, I doubt they're going to go full on that this is a precursor to the First Order. I doubt they could go that far. I would bet that the canon lords that they do check in with on occasion would put the kibosh on that. But a little bit of a, calling it the Order isn't that bad. Maybe just don't draw, a strong dotted line all the way to the First Order. But, I like that this is the new enemy that they're starting to build. The second thing that I saw pop up in the chat room that interested me from a theory perspective was, what if we are in on it? So what if we knew that all of this was being watched, and Lana and we as the Outlander are in on it, and this was all an act, and that's going to be revealed that we were in on it. I doubt that that's the case, but I would buy that if that sort of revealed itself in the story. And then the final point that, before I let you talk for a second, Seema, is I wouldn't be surprised that there would be a dialogue choice that whether or not we were in on it, we could get a dialogue choice that says, "Oh, I knew it all along." One of those throwaway dialogue points at some point coming up.
Yeah.
So what do you think of all of that all of those theories? Tie into the First Order? Do we know it? Are we just playing along? All that kind of thing.
I think order is a pretty generic term, so I'm happy with it to go in any direction. It may be like a precursor to the First Order, but I'd be happy if it was just like, the order of, stinky boys or something.
The order of the Lollipop Guild.
Yeah.
The shadowy figure is actually two small dudes stacked up in a robe that represent the Lollipop Guild.
But I can tell you, if I ever get a conversation option that says "I knew all along," I'm definitely clicking on it.
Well, especially my bounty hunter. He'd click on that in a second. Oh yeah. I totally knew that. That and the smuggler would click on that. No problem.
Right now what I'm picturing is Theron gets to like the outpost of the Order and they're like in a line or like everybody's companions. He's like, "Come on guys, get my ship. We're going back."
Yes. So we'll see. I like those theories. This has actually given me quite a bit more to think about than I had going into this. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate that from the chat room.
Yeah, in the chat room, that's a good point too. That could be remnants of the Order of Revan.
When I heard Order, I thought of that. I sort of hope it's not. I think we're sort of done with Revan, but
I would like to move forward. True. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to bring Revan back into it. I don't want Revan sort of resurrected. Certainly hope that doesn't happen. I liked that Revan story arc. It was one of the best parts of the Old Republic lore that I think was good from start to finish back in the KOTOR days, all the way through how it wrapped up in Shadow of Revan. So I wouldn't want it sullied. But if it's got some sort of, tie Order of Kefis. Chicken Eyelids is on fire tonight. It's the Order of Kefis. And Kefis is back and will be on point. The only other side thing I had that I noticed I found in flipping through all of this is back on Iokath. Apparently, and I didn't remember this, but as I was flipping through videos on YouTube, I found this. Let's see if we can play it.
Someone betrayed me. They lured me into that death trap
This is
and
back on
sabotaged
Iokath.
the throne. Just like they tricked all of us into fighting a war on Iokath.
The
And here you get a
conspiracy
dialogue
cuts
choice.
deeper than we imagined.
Who do you think it
Sounds
might
like an
be,
inside
Commander?
job, all right. Only a handful of people could get close enough to sabotage the throne.
Who could have done such a thing?
Who could have?
You're a trained spy, Theron. How do I know you haven't been
Now look how
playing me
hurt
all
he
along?
looks.
Seriously? After everything we've been through.
Seriously, you would accuse me? Yeah, and it was me. I thought
But
that was
of
pretty
course he
amusing.
would say that because he's a devious. He excels at deviosity.
He's a deviant.
Well,
He's a spy.
That's a different. I don't think that word means what you think.
It's derived from the same Latin root. as the
Yeah,
case may
those
be.
puppy eyes on Theron. I didn't do it, honest. Oh yeah, I forgot I did do it. But see, that's another. That doesn't. Yeah. And then, yeah, and he says on the train too. He says you say to him, well, this could mean the deaths of millions of people, and he says, well, that's the risk I'm willing to take, basically, for peace in the galaxy. And I'm like, that has actually been proven over and over again as not a good argument for anything.
Yes. Yeah.
But that, he doesn't have good arguments because it's a ruse.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the other many.
Yes, exactly.
That don't play out, right? However, it does fit in the Max theory of your death is the risk I'm willing to take.
Yes,
So
right. All millions of you.
maybe maybe he was maybe it worked out from that perspective. Anyway, I think that was a good discussion, a good breakdown. I do like the twist. I like how it played out. We'll have to see where it goes. I'm chomping at the bit to get more of the story, though, and we aren't going to get it now for another month, it seems. A little down about that. It will be October 10th. Hopefully we're going to get something, we know. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more of the story as well. We know we'll at least be getting some sort of content patch on October 10th, so looking forward to that. And with that, I think this EPC 211 droid can jump in this escape pod and leave Spoiler Town now that we're exiting it for the week, and we will be off spoilers next week. So thanks to all of you for joining us on newoverlords.com, on iTunes, on YouTube, or live on Twitch. We will stream again next Thursday night on twitch.tv/newoverlords around 10:30 p.m. Central. Please follow us on Twitter @MaxTheGray and @AIESEMA. And come find us on Jedi Covenant and ask us for an AIE Guild invite, because we would love to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.